I will take us through how to use Doppler to define the origin of a lesion. Using this case of a lady who was not sure of her age, but she said she was around 40 years old, para 9, who presented with heavy menstrual bleeding and was symptomatic of anemia. These are the still images. This is a bladder, anal canal, rectum. This is a prop within the vagina. So one can clearly see this well-defined lesion with stripy shadows coming out of the cervix. This is the anterior lip of the cervix. This is the posterior lip of the cervix. And this is this well circumscribed lesion, more clearly seen on this sapphire mud. So let's look at the video of the transvaginal image. So introducing the prop into the vagina, the rectum here, the bladder, and this is the mass within the vagina, anterior of the cervix, posterior of the cervix, the endocervical canal, and the metal cavities here. Note that the uterus is retroverted. So this is the posterior wall of the uterus, while this is the anterior wall of the uterus. So here, one cannot clearly define the origin of this lesion, whether it's from the endocervix or the endometrium. Here, I've just withdrawn the prop and introducing it into the anterior fornix. When one says that the mass is well circumscribed, it suggests that this is unlikely to be a malignant lesion. So we cannot actually define the origin of this lesion based on this 2D. So will Doppler help us do that? We shall see shortly. Now this is the still image. Remember, this is bladder, retroverted uterus. So this is the posterior wall, this is the anterior wall. So now look at the origin of this vessel. It's arising from the posterior wall. So the pedicle here is arising from the posterior wall, and you can see the feeder vessel down to where the prolapse lesion is. So the origin of this lesion is actually from the uterus and not from the cervix. So it is not a cervical polyp, but a prolapse polyp. And based on the characteristics, this is a prolapse fibroid polyp. So one can see that Doppler will actually define the origin of a lesion and guide the type of surgery to be offered. Now let's play the video. You see that? Remember, this is a posterior one. So look at the origin here of the lesion. Look at the feeder vessel feeding the lesion here. Again, the origin, feeder vessel, and the lesion. So this is a prolapse fibroid polyp as defined by Doppler. Well, these are commercial artifacts. So she had TAR with preservation of her ovaries. So here, remember, bladder, anal canal, rectum, well circumscribed lesion in the cervix, covered in the vagina, anterior lip of the cervix, posterior of the cervix, cervical canal. I have turned this upside down because that is what transvaginal image is all about. You assume that the patient is in an upside down position. So if that's the case, look at this. Well circumscribed lesion here. Well circumscribed lesion here. The cervical rim here. You can see here the anterior, posterior, and of course, this is the endocervix. The uterus is not defined here. So now let's compare this with this. So remember, the origin is here, and so after hysterectomy, trying to bisect to define the origin and compare with what was seen on Doppler. So look at it. Origin from the posterior wall, origin from the posterior wall on this is actually a prolapse fibroid polyp. So compare this with this. Today, there should be no surprises at surgery. What you see on ultrasound scan should be what you see during surgery. So look at this, the origin clearly defined using Doppler, and change the management modality for this patient. Thank you very much for listening.